Cisneros case first. Mr. Robinson, we'll just go through all the attorneys. What's going on with this case?
Your Honor, I believe that there is some objection to any agreement today, that they want a hearing. I believe that's from Ms. Cisneros and Ms. San Miguel. I believe that Kobe Cisneros, I don't know if we've gotten back the drug testing on that. He was not present and apparently is a non-offending parent. But one of the issues is that they are married. Molly and Kobe are married, and there's no parenting plan, but they've been separated for, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cisneros, a couple of years.
3 years.
And so I think it may be in the best interest that we go forward on this and maybe at least get some parenting plans in place. Obviously we have concerns regarding Ms. Cisneros based on the affidavit. So
Where is Lucille placed?
Maternal grandmother.
Yes.
Paternal grandma. And where does she live? Okay, so she's close.
Close, but that's not a long-term placement, Judge.
Where does Mr. Cisneros live, Mr. Baker?
Placement's an issue for us. We believe that Lucille should be with Mr. Cisneros, placed with him. He's a biological father. He has no criminal history. He has an appropriate place. He has appropriate housing. There's no reason for Lucille to be placed with anyone except him during this case.
Okay, let me let the lawyers and Costa on Cisneros. Let's go to breakout room real quick. There's Mr. Trinidad. Okay, y'all. On the Cisneros. I'm going to extend the emergency orders that I previously entered into until 9 o'clock on April 3rd. The attorneys and Costa have agreed that can all be heard via Zoom. I'm going to order that the child is to remain local. She can be moved to the maternal aunts if agreed by CPS and ad litems. I need the parents to submit to a hair strand by noon on Thursday as directed by the department. I know that Mr. Cisneros lives in, that's a whole, that community-based care mess region. I think it's just going to be easier if he comes down and goes to Lampasas or Marble Falls or wherever this area does our hair strands, because then I know we can get it back. We don't have to worry about if he did it or he didn't do it, or they hooked him up, they didn't hook him up, or, I don't like that community-based care garbage, and I'd rather everybody be on the same page. So we need to do that, and I need mom to go do a hair strand. Mr. San Miguel said that Miss Cisneros has done some UAs, but I want everybody to be even on the, I want to just have everybody do the same test. The parents can visit virtually 3 times a week or as arranged by placement, and CPS, my stuff ran together. Parents visit virtually 3 times a week as arranged by placement, and can also visit in person as agreed by placement, CPS and ad litems, and be supervised. Everybody understand everything? Okay, so Miss Pilley, is this who's going to be the one to set up the hair strands for the parents?
I can.
Okay, Miss Pilley, get that information to both lawyers and Mr. and Ms. Cisneros so they know where to go and when and all that. I'm assuming, keep my fingers crossed, I'm assuming we'll get the results back by 4/3. If not, we might just have to reset again. I don't know, but that's why I need y'all to go, as soon as possible. So, because it takes a while to get hair strand results back. Okay. Okay, everybody good? Everybody understands everything?
Judge,
Yep.
I don't know that the department will be able to agree to the placement. There's a 2 or 3-year-old DWI. I've heard the details of it. I mean, the aunt in Granbury. Do you just want us to have a hearing if the department can agree, or can we just say as agreed by the ad litems?
As agreed by y'all.
Okay.
Your Honor, can we ask that there also be an ETG on the hair strand?
Yes.
Alcohol also.
Yes, ma'am.
The aunt is in Granbury?
Yes.
And that's local?
No.
Okay.
Why, where'd you get that?
Because I thought you wanted placement to remain local.
Oh,
Um,
I would placement to stay with grandma if at all possible. That's what I meant by local.
Gotcha.
Enrich. Yeah.
And that right now.
Yes.
And the aunt is the one who has the recent DWI.
Not recent, it's just 2 or 3 years old. I mean, recent in what y'all can agree to.
I would say that's kind of recent.
Okay.
That would be, I mean,
that
after,
would be a bar for the department.
yeah, I would. Is it disposed of, Mr. Wood, do you know, or is it
Yes.
pending?
Yeah, it's already taken care of.
Okay.
He completed probation.
And it was like a first, DWI first?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd also like to point out, just while we're on the subject, well, not placement, but on the subject of drug testing. Also like to point out that Mr. Cisneros is bald, so he'll have to have facial hair or body hair.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Just making sure
And that's
everyone
accurate.
notices now. I'm just making sure everyone notices now.
But that will be accurate. Hair is
Yeah.
hair.
Yes.
Oh,
It's gonna be different than yours, but yes, I mean, we'll get an analysis, yeah.
that's not why I brought it up. I just brought it
Yeah.
up to make sure everyone notices now that he's
Yeah.
bald.
Hey, I don't always click on stuff, but I did click on that, yeah. So we're good, thank you.
So did you say the hair strand to include ETG?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, y'all can't dye, shave, color, any of that kind of stuff, your hair during the pendency of a CPS case, especially when we're getting ready to have a hair strand on Thursday. So Ms. Pilley, if you'll get with the parents, let them know when all that stuff's going down, and I will see y'all on Zoom as agreed at 9 o'clock on 4/3. Okay. Okay, thank y'all. We'll be in recess on Miss Bennett. We were here. We heard from Mr. Howard about his client. What about your client?
Yes, Shawner. Unfortunately, I have not been able to get in contact with my client. We were given a phone number and we have called that number numerous times. I can't recall if we were able to leave a message or not. If we were able to, we did. We also text messaged that number multiple times. I texted it yesterday. We texted it multiple times last week. I think Mr. Robinson said maybe someone from his office got a hold of her, or she indicated she was going to try to be on today, but I don't know. I have not had contact with her.
Mr. Robinson, did y'all have a talk? Did y'all talk to Ms. Blake?
No, we have not.
Okay.
We have not. What we did is we had some messaging over Facebook and we got an email for her. And we did send her the link for the hearing this morning and we shared that with Ms. Wood. So, but that's kind of the extent of it.
Miss Bennett?
Miss Bennett.
Ms. Bennett, I'm sorry. Hello.
I know.
It's early in the morning. Yeah.
It's early.
Okay, I guess probably what we ought to do is just reset this one till 4/3 also. Since that would give Mr. Howard and Miss Bennett a little bit more time, and then if they don't show up on 4/3, I know Mr. Wood's client, Mr. Howard's client's probably not gonna be able to, that'll give him more time to talk. Blake doesn't show up, then that's probably what we're gonna have to do, just go forward that day. Mr. Wood, Mr. Vidler, y'all happy with, excuse me, Bailey's placement?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Emergency orders extended to 4/3/23, 9 a.m. Do y'all agree that everybody can be on Zoom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't know if I can agree or not, but I don't object.
You know what? If your client is MIA, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
If y'all will notice on all the papers that got sent out from the court this weekend, There's no lines for client signatures. It's all up to the lawyers to make that decision, because we have lots of clients that are MIA. And I'm not going to hold up court based on people that cannot be contacted. Okay, I'm going to order mom to submit to a hair strand to include alcohol, hair strand as directed by CPS. If we hear from her, it would be good if we had that information, but you know, who knows? Miss Blake, do you need anything for Bailey? You good?
No, ma'am, we're great. Thank you.
Great. Okay, thank you. Costa, Mr. Wood, y'all need anything?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Your Honor.
No. Okay, so the only orders are that we're extending to 4/3 at 9 a.m. Agree on Zoom. Mom hair strand per CPS, and that'll include alcohol. Anybody? Yes, Miss Brock.
We have a hair strand on this, Mom.
Oh, we do.
We do.
When did y'all do that?
Here.
So Mom actually did meet with me the following day,
Good.
and she submitted to a UA and a hair test and an ETG.
Okay.
And then we have those results back.
What are they?
The hair test was actually negative. The UA was positive for marijuana for level of 113, and her ETG test came back positive for a level of 16,743.
Wow. Well, if
But I don't have an ETG here.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, my screen's not working, so I can't see if anybody's talking. But the hair didn't include the ETG.
Well, and if the incident happened the day before and we did the hair the next day, that's not. I mean, that's not going to be any indicator for what was done the day before. You know, because it hadn't had time to grow out her hair yet. But 16,
Correct.
whatever for alcohol's high. So, I mean, I'm more concerned about this case than I am the Cisneros case. I'll be honest with y'all. So, I mean, I'm concerned about both of them, but this one is, the facts were more alarming. Okay, well, we'll just extend everything. County attorneys, y'all get me those extension orders, and I'll see y'all on Zoom on 4/3/23. Okay, we're set for status hearing. And Ms. Vanna, did you also set the motion for aggravated circumstances?
Yes, Judge, we did.
Okay, you may begin, please. I'm sorry, I forgot. Y'all, nobody has any opposition to going forward on Zoom, correct? And any news, Miss Dowdle, Miss Fowler, any news from the parents, or anybody have any news from the parents?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
No.
Your Honor, it's my understanding Mr. Trevino was served. I was able to speak with him. I do have direction from him. He is opposed to aggravated circumstances. He wants his son. That's my direction.
Well, that's good. When Miss Vanna, do you know service date, please?
Oh, yes, let me look that up.
And do we know look at that little one?
She was not served. He was served in criminal court in our building it was in February.
I remember we talked about that was getting ready to go down.
February 27th. He was served in court at the Burnett County Courthouse.
Okay.
The mother was not served. She was not here at the time. However, I do believe that I did. I don't know what she looks like, but some lady ended up showing up later, walking out with him, but she was not there at the time. So we did not get her served. We were able to obtain some EMS records where the baby was born. And so we're trying to now get mom served at the location where she gave birth. So we're trying, Judge.
Okay. I will do that.
I would object to proceeding on, just for the record, object to proceeding on the motion without service on my client of the petition. She hasn't, I'm appearing, but she hasn't even been served with notice of the suit yet.
And Judge, unfortunately, a motion for accelerated circumstances has to be heard before the status hearing.
Right. I mean, surely she knows her child is in CPS custody. She doesn't have her kid. Ms. McDonald has, this is our, what, third time with these people? How many? Third. And Ms. McDonald, have you been the caseworker on the other 2 cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Do these parents have your phone number?
They should, and yes.
They
Yeah.
know how to contact you, correct?
From the very first case, it hasn't changed, and I had contact with them some then, yes.
And Ms. McClure's been the attorney ad litem on all the cases, correct?
Yes.
Have you had any contact with them, Ms. McDonald?
No, I've checked, local jail records to see if I can find them. The only contact I have is with Paul's mother, Raquel Villarreal. And I reached out to her, reached out last week, and she hasn't heard from them in several weeks. I asked her, when she does hear from them, does she find out where they are or any kind of contact information? And she said she does not, because she does not want to know where they are, how to get in touch with them. They just reach out to her when they need something. And so she doesn't know where they are.
Okay.
And Your Honor, if I might add that when Mr. Trevino was served, he was provided the contact information for his attorney. And also he provided our office with an address to serve mother that ended up being not their address. So, they're aware of the lawsuit.
Well, I remember seeing these people at the Burnett courthouse.
Correct.
I think Ms. Keel was on that case, and that was right before Zoom started, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
It started as a participation case, and then things kind of went crazy. And so I think we said, we're going to change this into removal right there. We were in court, if I remember correctly.
That's
and
correct.
Dad pulled off his shirt and was getting ready to fight with the bailiffs and stuff, and it's kind of some drama. And then we've had Zoom, I believe, ever since. So
they showed up for one and talked to their attorneys in a breakout room, and then they didn't come back. They just got mad and left. And
that was the first case, I believe. The first
case in person, right?
No.
That was the Zoom. I think that was the status hearing.
Oh, okay.
On Zoom right after. And I don't know that they've had any contact with anybody since.
Okay. Well, Ms. Dad, I understand where you're coming from, but we've been dealing with these people for 3 years, baby. And if they cared, they would call y'all, they would contact CASA, CPS, ad litem, somebody, the court. And so we're going to go on and proceed on the status hearing and on the motion.
Yes, ma'am.
But I understand your objection. So Ms. Vanna, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of its file. And I would like to begin with the motion for aggravated circumstances on this case, Judge.
Okay, please.
And Your Honor, we're asking that the court find aggravated circumstances and reason for an accelerated trial based on the fact that Ms. Kristen Smith and Paul Anthony Trevino have abandoned their child pursuant to the Penal Code Section 22.041. And I would like to call Ms. Teresa McDonald.
Okay. Please.
Ms. McDonald, are you the caseworker on this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been working with this family?
Since 2020, about this time in 2020, March, April.
Okay. And now with regard to this case, when the child and the mom were at the hospital, did the mom ever go visit the baby?
No.
Okay.
Once she was released from the hospital, she never did go back to visit.
Okay. Did she express an intent to go visit?
It's my understanding she had contact with the hospital staff and did indicate on at least 2 occasions that she would be by to visit with the child and then would not show up.
Okay. And as far as you know, has she seen the baby since the mom was discharged from the hospital?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And Has she been in touch with you?
No, ma'am.
Has she been in, I don't know, I guess I'll ask somebody else, Casa, that. Have you tried to locate her?
Yes.
What efforts have you made to try to locate the mother?
Well, like I stated, I contacted the only contact person I know for them, Raquel Villarreal, by phone and text message a couple of times since the case started. Then I just, I try to do searches on websites for them and have not been able to find them.
Okay. And in regards to Mr. Paul Anthony Trevino, do you know if he went to the hospital to visit the baby?
I don't think there's any record that he went at all to the hospital.
Okay. Has he reached out to you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
I do, Your Honor. Ms. McDonald, are you aware of a residence in the past CPS cases that the parties allegedly had in Burnett County?
They had a trailer at one of the original case in 2020 and was listed as their address at the subsequent case in 21. But when I tried to make contact, the trailer was moved, was gone. It's my understanding his mother and grandmother were paying for that and stopped paying for it when they were pretty much not using it anymore.
Okay, so just to clarify, so you did go to the Helm Circle location trying to make contact, but the trailer was no longer there?
Not in this case, but I did in 20 and 21.
So was the trailer ever there?
In 1920 it was. I'm sorry, in
mean-
2020,
Okay.
during Nevaeh's case, I went there several times. It was there during the entire case that we had with Nevaeh.
Okay, and in 2021, you said it was, when you went there, it was no longer there.
When I went at the beginning of the case, it was there, but no contact. And then when I went back another time, it was gone.
And do you have any other location information for mom or dad in this case?
She has listed on her food stamp application, and I believe the address that she gave or that Mr. Trevino gave was actually the address from Burnett, who is Nevaeh's adopted mother. She has been using that address, but Mrs. Molina hasn't had any contact with either one of them since the end of Nevaeh's case in 2020. But they continue to use that address as their address.
Okay, and but besides those two locations, that's the only location information that you have?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness.
I have just a few. Ms. McDonald, have you ever spoken to Mr. Trevino?
Yes.
Is he the alleged father in this case? Has he been adjudicated to any of the children in the past cases?
Would assume that he was adjudicated in the two prior cases. I don't have that information in front of me.
Why does the department think that he is the father for Joel Trevino?
Well, they've been together as a couple. He has admitted that he was, you said the father of Alejandro?
Oh, I'm sorry, Alejandro.
Well, I mean, he admitted he was the father of the other two. They are together as a couple. I mean, I don't know that anyone has spoken to him, but I believe.
I guess my confusion is, did he go to the hospital when Alejandro was taken there?
I do not know that.
Did he talk with CPS ever about this child?
I don't recall that from the investigation. I would have to research that, but I didn't think he was ever at the hospital once EMS took her.
Okay. And do you believe that he is married to the mother?
Not legally through a court. I'm sure they present themselves as common law.
Okay.
In the past, in the investigations, they've referred to each other as husband and wife.
Okay. And have you had any contact with him regarding Alejandro at all since this case
No.
started? Okay.
No.
Have you had contact with his mother?
No. Oh, with Paul's mother?
Yes.
Yes. Miss Villarreal, yes.
Since this case began regarding Alejandro?
Yes.
Okay. And was she able to give you any helpful information?
She indicated that she does not know where they are. She said that she does not ask because she doesn't want to know. They reach out to her. She doesn't know how to contact them.
Does she have any interest in her role as a grandmother with Alejandro?
My understanding, she's happy where he is with the Paynes. They do have a relationship. And she's maintaining contact with Alejandro through Miss Payne.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McDonald. No more questions, Your Honor.
Anybody else?
I just have a couple, Judge.
Ms. McClure?
Ms. McDonald, if Dad disputed his paternity, would you be glad to set up a DNA test for him?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he contacted the office to ask for one of those?
No, ma'am.
Has the office changed location since the first case?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next witness, Ms. Vanna.
I would call Casa. I guess
Brandy.
Hey, Brandy.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Brandy, how long have you been on this case?
Since the beginning, since it started.
Okay, have you ever worked with this family before?
I have not.
Okay, so this is your first time?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Brandy? Okay, thank you. Anything else, Ms. Vanna, as to your motion?
Yes, Judge, I would call Mr. David Fowler.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Fowler, do you know who the, I guess, Kristen Smith and Paul Trevino are?
I do, but I have never met him in person.
Okay, have you been the CASA on their other cases?
I think possibly back in 2021.
Okay, so do you have any information about the parents in this case?
No, ma'am, I can't find them.
Okay, no further questions.
Anybody else have any questions of Mr. Fowler?
No questions, Your Honor.
Next witness, Ms. Vanna.
No further witnesses, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dowdle, Ms. Fowler, do y'all have any witnesses?
No, ma'am.
No. Ms. McClure, anything you'd like to add as to the motion for aggravated circumstances?
If Mr. Trevino wanted his son, why isn't he here today? He got to speak with his attorney. He obviously got served with papers. He knew that this case was being heard. If he really wanted his son, why isn't he here? This has been the way this case has been from the very beginning. A lot of talk, but no walk. They've had plenty of opportunity from the very first child to do what they needed to do. They've used their pregnancies and their babies as tools for panhandling. They have not loved and protected their children. In fact, there is some evidence out there that indicates that she may have accidentally killed the third child.
Objection, Your Honor. These are all opening up reasons to go back into evidence. None of this is on the record. None of this has been anything that's testified to or even talked about during this.
Okay, I'll sustain your objection.
But Your Honor, past behavior is part of the factual basis for the aggravated circumstances.
I understand about their past behavior from the two other cases I have also. And like you said, they're not here and weren't at the hospital. I got all that. Yeah.
You know, the wonderful thing about this case is that the placement, they are family friends. They do stay in contact. I've seen pictures of the first child, Nevaeh, with Joel. we call him Zeke. And I mean, they're, except for the length of the hair, they're identical and they do have a relationship. And I think that this child is where this child needs to be. He is with his older brother. He's going to have a relationship with family members that do care and are interested. I believe that aggravated circumstances should be granted. I believe that if they want to do what they should do, what they should have done the first 2 times, they still can if they really want to. So it's not terminating them today. It is just merely letting them know that we're not going to do more work than they're going to do. So I support the motion.
The oldest child, Nevaeh's with real cute grandparents, or aren't they really fun people, right?
I think he just passed away not too long ago, but yes, Maria. Yes.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. And who were they kin to?
They're she is Paul's grandmother. Raquel's
Have y'all
mother.
talked to, has anybody talked to her about locating the parents, contacting the parents, anything?
Judge, if Lisa could unmute herself, I think she's been in contact with some of the various family members, trying to locate the child and everything else. Lisa, can you tell us just real briefly what you know?
Yes, Maria has not had contact with Paul since she got custody of Nevaeh. She said they have not came around to even see her one time since she got custody. She doesn't know where they're at. Only Raquel is in communication with them.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm happy to hear from everybody on the motion if y'all have any arguments or anything.
Yes, Judge. I guess for closing argument, I would ask the court to find that there are aggravated circumstances, specifically that both parents abandoned this baby at the hospital. They never came. You heard the testimony. As soon as mom was discharged, she made promises to come back and visit, and she never did. She still is not communicating with the department. The father has been served. He has not reached out to the department. I think that if they do show up before a final trial, I'm sure that the department would be willing to work with them. But at this time, we're asking that the court make the finding for aggravated circumstances and accelerate the trial.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fana. Ms. Dowdle, Ms. Fowler, anything y'all like to add?
Your Honor, I'd just like to renew my objection to proceeding without my client being properly served. And that's all I have.
Okay, Ms. Fowler.
No argument, Your Honor, except that no argument, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McClure, anything you'd like to add for the aggravated circumstances?
No, Judge, I think I've said my piece. I've counted to 10 and I've said my piece.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I hear a little one talking.
Oh, Judge, he was so cute the other day when I went up there to visit. Oh, he's so sweet.
Grown so much from, first pictures I saw when he was in the hospital. Okay, well, I'm going to grant Ms. Fana's motion for aggravated circumstances. There's no need for a service plan. I am going to order DNA on Mr. Trevino. I thought I'd previously ordered that, but I don't see it. So I am going to order DNA on him. Ms. Fana, last time on 2/9/23 at the adversary hearing, I did order cite by publication on the parents. We got him personally served. So we still possibly, I'm gonna set this for a permanency hearing on 6/6 and then for final trial on 9/5. So if by, time around the permanency hearing, we don't have any, no personal service on mom, let's go on and do citation by publication. I also think have y'all amended y'all's pleadings to include an unknown father?
We will be amending those, Judge, for the alleged and the unknown father. Yes.
I have.
Judge, when did you say final trial was? I'm sorry.
9/5. Okay. So the scheduling order has 6/6, 9/5, and our dismissal date is 1/22. For status purposes, I don't really know what else you need, Ms. Fana.
Judge, I just wanted to give the court an update on the birth certificate because that always seems to be an issue in this case.
I'm listening. just getting an order appointing, okay? But
Okay.
I'm here. Go on.
Oh, okay. And so the hospital is now working on getting the birth certificate. So I'm hoping that we should get that within the next month or so for the child. There were EMS records. And so we're able to find out where the child was born and the day and time. And so the hospital is working on that for us. So hopefully we don't have a birth certificate issue like we did with the other kiddo.
Oh, gosh, I hope not. Okay, that's great. Of course, now I can't find my orders.
Agata, thank you so much for doing all that. You are the guru.
You need to thank Arinda as well.
Yes, you and Arinda are the gurus.
Okay, Miss Dowd, what do you need?
A client.
Okay, really? Miss Fowler, anything? Ditto?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, Miss Brandy's good, Miss McClure. Well, Alejandro is precious and grown like a weed and doing well. Okay, let me see what else. No service plan. Okay, got it. Okay, well,
I mean, I still need to be in court. Is that right, Judge?
Excuse me?
I think I still need to be in the courtroom though, right, Judge?
Yeah, you and me and
yes. So I have no opinion.
Yeah, I know. You don't count. Yeah. Okay, well, not 6/6, and that date is a little questionable, right, Miss Vanna?
Yes, Judge. I will know April 6th. I'll update the court.
Okay. There might be jury that week. So anyway, we'll let y'all know, but 9/5, and we'll see y'all. Truth, nothing but the truth. Sometime, God. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay. This is for the baby, Stephanie, and it's a first permanency hearing. I read the reports on this case and on the other case, except for this afternoon. Doesn't look like mom's been doing any testing or doing much. She's not here today. So Stephanie is with her fictive kin, who also has her sister Rhonda, and they're rocking and rolling and doing well. So Miss Vanna, what do you need today?
I don't think we need anything. We would ask that the court orders continue as previously ordered. And I would like to call Miss Maria Henry just to make sure that she doesn't need any other services for the child or the mother. Miss Henry, are there any other services that you believe are necessary for the mother or for the child in this case?
No, the only thing is just the support hasn't been given in terms of like providing for diapers for the caregiver. So outside of that, that's pretty much the only thing for this case.
Okay. Are there any other orders that you think that the mom, any other services that would be beneficial to her at this time?
No, ma'am, not at this time that we haven't already agreed to previously.
Okay, no further questions.
Anybody have any questions of Miss Henry?
No, Your Honor.
I have no further witnesses, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Miss Ward, any witnesses or anything today?
No, Your Honor. I'll just remind the court that my client does not have a telephone. And so it's possible that, and I know she doesn't have internet access at the home. So it's very possible that she's just been unable to log in due to the poverty situation.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Cummings?
Your Honor, only a client.
We've had that going. That's a problem today. Before I get to Miss Bayless, let me ask something. Miss Henry, what is the update on DNA on Mr. Maynard?
So Mr. Maynard has never participated at all for the case. We've never been able to reach him for either case, honestly.
Okay. From reading the reports, it sounds like he's lurking around, but just sort of in the background, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Miss Bailey, what do you need today? You're muted. Still muted.
Okay. Am I now?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
I don't have anything other than I submitted a report. I don't know how to e-file. I apologize to all of you. I'm learning. But same thing everybody's been saying. He's a ghost. He's around, but nobody sees him.
Okay, the county attorney's office is going to get with you. You just got appointed to another unknown father on a third time arounder.
Oh gosh, oh boy, I'm excited.
So, yeah,
I just did a quick search on VineLink. It looks like Mr. Maynard was incarcerated and bonded out yesterday. So if the department was trying to look for him, they could have found him.
Well, it depends on his case. He's been kind of in and out. I think we tried to reach him when he was incarcerated at one point, and then he was out.
Well, when y'all say incarcerated, you mean Burnett County Jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Well, there would be an address for him as to where he bonded out to.
Okay, we'll check on that.
I think Mr. Maynard does not want to be involved.
And Judge, we have the address of where he supposedly lives. Maria has been by there several times, and every time she goes by there, the relatives of Mr. Maynard who live there report that he doesn't stay there and he stays with his wife, who they refer to as Samantha.
And he actually has been personally served.
He has in this case?
I believe so, yes.
What about Miss Soto, Samantha?
She's been served.
Can you give me the dates, please?
Yes, let me look that up real quick.
Has he been served in this one? I didn't think anybody had found him since this baby was born.
No, citation executed on Dustin Maynard it was in December.
Okay.
December 14th of 22.
Yeah.
Let me check on mother. No, mother has not been served.
I'm thinking she's appeared though.
Yes, she did appear.
Yes, she appeared on 11/15 and she appeared on 12/6. Of course, the unknown father that Ms. Bayless represents has never appeared, and Mr. Baynard never on this case.
And he was served at the Baker Street address in Granite Shoals.
Oh, what? Okay. Okay.
Is the Baker Street address her address or a different one?
That's his address that's listed.
Okay.
Okay, well, somebody check with the jail and see what address he used on his bond, and y'all pass that information on. I'm sure it's probably one y'all already have, but it doesn't hurt to check.
Your Honor, sorry, I would add that I've sent him numerous letters to the Baker Street address and they've never been returned to me. So someone is getting them.
Right. Okay, thank you. Ms. Shahan, anything you'd like to add regarding Stephanie? It's not in your report. Like everything's going well.
Everything's going good. She's cute as a bug.
Great. Growing
Miranda's
good.
doing a great job.
Great. She's here, or there she is. Okay. Ms. Potts, anything you'd like to add?
No, Your Honor, the baby's doing well and placement is super good.
Okay. Ms. Beltran, anything? Y'all good? We're just on Stephanie's case right now. You're muted, but this means good.
There we go. We're good over here. It would just be nice to receive a box of diapers here and there. I know it's like pulling a leg, but it would be nice. Other than that, she's great. Everything's great. I mean, she always has what she needs. It's just, I love having extras, and that's just pretty much it, but she's pretty good.
Right.
Everything's great.
Well, and I can't order child support on Mr. Maynard because he's just alleged. He hasn't, we don't have him as adjudicated. He's not, just to make sure, he's not on Stephanie's birth certificate, is he? No.
No, he didn't show up at the hospital or anything. She's just always said that he was the father, and she hasn't named anybody else.
Okay, let me ask this. We're set for next permanency hearing on 6/6. Do we want to call that a perm final? What do we want to do, y'all?
Let me see. When did this case start? I just want to make sure that we've had
10/6. So you'd have 10/26.
Can we go another month, Judge, just so that we can make sure we have 9 months?
Yeah. Let me
for
just
the
bump
program?
it back. How's that?
Okay.
Because if we're iffy on the 6/6 hearing anyway, that would just take one off that docket in case y'all have a jury trial that day.
Okay.
How about 7/11? We'll just move the 6/6 case to 6/6 hearing to 7/11. And we'll call it a perm final.
That works.
Now, y'all, that is not a regular date. They're starting a capital murder trial in Burnett that day. So they need all the courtroom availability. So we're going to have a total, even the court, y'all can always Zoom. But does anybody have any opposition to continuing everybody being on Zoom that day?
No, Your Honor.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor, if it's final, I want to be in person.
Well, it's not going to be that day then.
Okay, well then I'm fine with either just doing a permanency that day on Zoom or setting a final on a day when we can be in person, especially with my client not having technology.
Well, then we'll do, Ms. Van, I'm going to move it to 6/20 then.
Okay, I don't know if that is quite enough time, Judge.
Your Honor, I have a vacation notice on file for that week.
You have, hold on. TMC was 10/26, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7 months.
Right, I need 9 months for the Oak Grounds.
You need 9, okay. Well, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it on 6/6 for a permanency hearing.
Okay.
We'll see if y'all have, we have court that day. Then what I might do, once we get through these new procedures and all that, if nobody's participating, blah, blah, we're set for trial on 9/5. I might just set it 45, give everybody 45 days notice.
That's good.
So Carrie Ward wants trial in person. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I just think contested matters should be in person.
Okay.
In general.
That doesn't mean I would have to be there in person, right?
No.
Okay.
And you can file your report and be released, but I think there's going to be a little bit more investigation on this a little bit longer. So I'm not going to release you right now.
Okay, that's fine. I'd like to be able to track him down and actually somebody get him to do a DNA.
Yeah. Ms. Bayless has previously been appointed for the unknown father. Carrie, we got to have Carrie Ward wants a trial in person. That'll be 9/5. Next permanency hearing is 6/6. Everything else continues. Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Judge.
Bye,
We'll be
everybody.
recessed to give you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, Mr. Lopez is here. Miss Victoria Lopez is not here. Miss Dowdle, any news from her?
I apologize, Judge. No, I have not talked with her recently. Every time I try to call, I get a voicemail or not able to leave a message.
Okay, and I think she quit talking to Miss Haynes. Reading the reports, Helen is in Florida. This is things change on a minute by minute basis on this case. So but all I know is Helen went to Florida. We need to discuss birth control. Leanne had a visit with her dad last week after we worked out some kinks, and I guess she went back to the RTC. So that's where I'm coming from. So Miss Vanny, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. I guess this is a permanency before final. So I guess I know Dad had the kiddo. I would like to call Miss Anna Haynes. Ms. Haynes, were you able to visit the father and the child during spring break?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Okay. Do you know if anybody went out there to visit the father and?
I believe Janelle went out to visit with them.
Okay. And is the father in therapy with Ms. Fierro?
He was, however, he was unsuccessfully discharged last Friday,
Okay. And when did you learn of this?
this morning.
Okay. Do you, according to your report from the therapist, do you know why he was discharged?
He was discharged due to not being completely honest or failing to disclose all information.
Okay, and that's just according to the therapist, is that right? What she believes? Okay. And so have you looked into, I mean, if you found out this morning, are you going to look into another therapist for the father?
It depends on what the court orders at this point.
Okay. Do you believe that it's still important for Leanne to have therapy, family therapy with her father?
Absolutely. That's one of the recommendations that the therapist did say, that if she were to return home, that she would need long-term therapy as well as MHMR.
Okay. And so are you looking for a provider?
I'm not looking for a provider as of yet, but I will contact the courtesy worker to be able to establish with anyone. However, it was difficult to get this therapist, so I'm not entirely sure how quickly we'll be able to acquire a new one.
Okay. Leanne's therapist at the RTC, is that therapist providing family therapy, or would they be willing to provide family therapy?
I don't know if they'd be willing to provide family therapy. I haven't had that discussion with them yet, since Leanne is still, not fully cooperating. And so they're still trying to work on getting her where she needs to be.
Okay. At this point in time, are you looking to return Leanne to her father?
Not at this time.
And why not?
The department just has concerns regarding, the parenting and the way Mr. Lopez is able to manage her behaviors, as well as, other concerns regarding past events that happened in the home with her other sister, and then her now being the only child in the home.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Anybody have any questions, Ms. Haynes?
I've got a couple, Judge.
Thank you.
Ms. Haynes, you'll agree with me that it's important for the department to be aware of Mr. Lopez's parenting style, correct?
Correct.
And the best way to gain that information is to have boots on the ground, so to speak, and go out there and visit with Mr. Lopez while he is in possession of his child, correct?
Well, I think that
that's a yes or no, ma'am. Is the best way to judge someone's parenting style to watch that parent with their child, yes or no?
I think it's situational. I can't answer yes and I can't answer no.
Fair enough. You'll agree with me that it's important to watch a parent with their child when trying to best determine whether that parent is showing appropriate parenting style, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you'll agree with me that Mr. Lopez recently had an entire week with one of his children for spring break, correct?
Correct.
And you did not go out there one time during that entire week to visit with Mr. Lopez while he had the child, correct?
I was not. I was out of the office, so no, I did not.
And so while you were out of the office, you did not task another CPS representative with doing this important thing while you were gone, did you?
I'm pretty sure that I haven't followed up with the courtesy worker, so I'm not aware whether or not she did go out there or not.
Okay. And when did you ask the courtesy worker to go out there?
I have not followed up with the courtesy worker to see if she went out there. I knew she had a visit planned, but I'm not sure if it was during that time.
Let me ask, did you ask a courtesy worker to go visit with Mr. Lopez prior to you being out of the office last week?
I did speak with her prior to leaving the office, and I told her that she would be there for spring break and if she could follow up with them. However,
what is the name of the courtesy officer you spoke with?
Her name is Wendy Roach.
And you have not followed up with Ms. Roach as of yet?
No, not yet.
Don't you think that it's not fair to Mr. Lopez for the department to come into court this morning and tell the court that they don't believe that Mr. Lopez has exhibited a good enough parenting style when the department doesn't bother to watch him parent? Do you think that's fair?
Well, since you're asking for my opinion, I would say due to history and the concerns that are prevalent, and with 1 week, it's not going to make a difference for us to be able to determine if this child will be safe with Mr. Lopez long-term, or if his parenting style has developed within a week's worth of being with her, considering that she has been removed for almost a year.
All right. And considering that she's been removed for almost a year, how many times has the department actually watched Mr. Lopez around his kids?
We have watched Mr. Lopez. When I took over the case in September, we did weekly visits down in Austin, and I myself observed some concerning behaviors between Mr. Lopez and with Leanne. Since Leanne was moved from the foster home, I want to say in December, the facility has observed interactions between Mr. Lopez and Leanne, and there have been concerns reported there as well.
Okay. And did you take visitation notes that have been supplied to me about these visits?
Not to you, as they were never requested, but yes, visitation notes were documented.
Okay. And you can get those to me within a week?
I can do my best.
Okay. Can you also submit a request for the de-identified file so long as judge orders it?
I believe that that's already been requested.
Okay. With respect to Mr. Lopez being kicked out of counseling, is it correct that you have not had an opportunity to actually visit with this counselor because you just found out this information this morning?
My supervisor is the one that followed up with the counselor prior to me finding out today.
So it's correct. You have not had an opportunity to follow up with the counselor?
No, I have not. I received her email though.
Very good. Pass the witness.
Anybody else have any questions, Ms. Haynes?
Just briefly, Judge. Ms. Haynes, what would Mr. Lopez have to do for the department to recommend the child to go home? And
I honestly think that Mr. Lopez needs to be, forthcoming with information and be open about past situations that have occurred to alleviate any concerns that are still prevalent. Mr. Lopez provides information, however, it's not always forthcoming with all of the information. And from the therapist and what she wrote that, he's left some things out that she was not aware of until we had a conversation with, my supervisor had a conversation with her to provide more information regarding the case. If he continues to omit information, it's really not helpful to him or for us to be able to, move forward in eventually recommending the reunification for him and his child.
So what did he omit to the therapist? I think that's important to know.
One of the things that he omitted was, the age that he was when he married Leanne's mother and how
Judge, I'm going to stop. I'm going to object right now. I believe the question was, what are the things that Mr. Lopez allegedly omitted to the therapist? However, the caseworkers testified that her office just found out the therapist.
Hold on, bro. Therapist is here now.
Oh, good.
So let's just break. And I know her time is valuable. So Miss Fierro, where'd she go? Did she leave us?
She was there.
Yeah, I saw her.
Thank you, Judge.
So so your hearsay objection that was getting ready to come would be moot, I guess.
Well, Judge, towards that end, the court knows me so well. Since we're going to start talking to a therapist about concerns, if any, regarding my client, I respectfully ask that we come off YouTube.